Discuss representation in the era of digital media. Buckingham states that genre changes as society changes. This quote suggests that the climate of the era determines the representation of people. Current trends and stereotypes based on an individual's characteristics output by the media can cause the general public to see various groups of society portrayed in a different light. I'll be focusing on the representation of disabled people over time. Historically, disability has been perceived on screens as a negative way of life, and stereotypes support this, which is evident in pre-digital media. However, representation dramatically improves over time in the digital media era, showing a true nature of disability. According to Buckingham's logic, a progressively positive representation of disability will occur with more disabled characters in TV shows and movies due to them being more accepted into society in today's day and age. First, let's focus on the history of the digital media era. The digital media surged during the 1990s due to the rise of cable and satellite TVs. This was significant as prior to this, in the UK, there were only 4 channels available for the audience to watch. This brought about diversity of choice of what the audience would like to watch. It caused audience fragmentation as more channels appeared, meaning TV viewings on the main 4 started to drop. There were now channels dedicated to interests such as sports, music, and kids' TV shows. This was then further developed with on-demand digital recordings available on cable and satellite boxes. Furthermore, this was progressed to further choices in today's climate with the introduction of streaming services such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney+. This has allowed access to further TV shows globally. Thanks to technological convergence, you can view TV shows and films on your mobile, tablets, and laptops, allowing the audience to watch whenever and wherever they please. This has had a huge impact on the representation of disability in the TV shows and movies compared to pre-1990s. Freaks in 1932 was the first film to contain disabled actors. It portrayed the disabled as being inferior to the able-bodied. The mise-en-scene of the film demonstrates further inferiority as it is set in a circus. According to Bacton's Carnivalesque theory, it states that it is a step away from society and is ultimately a separation of society. This insinuates the inferiority as they are separated from society and treated differently to the rest. They are treated for the purpose of entertainment for the audience interest. This could be perceived as humour or general curiosity. The message of inferiority is broadened in the final scene of Freaks, with the scene of the disabled characters crawling through the mud. Whilst this is happening, the able-bodied characters are sat in their trailers in a more privileged position. The preposition alone exhibits the inferiority of disabled people. To further enhance this portrayal of supremacy, the scene is displayed in low-angle shots of the able-bodied characters demonstrating authority and superiority. In between cuts, high-angled shots of disabled characters in the mud showing inferiority. Marxist theory by Althusser would state that Freaks displays the ideological status apparatus. This is a message enforced by the media to maintain hegemony and enforce dominant values across society. The message they would be enforcing is white able-bodied are superior. This is clear in Freaks, despite the film being the first disabled film, white able-bodied characters dominate screen time. Another example of a pre-digital media film is My Left Foot in 1989. The film focuses on the life and rise to success of Christy Brown, who has cerebral palsy. It contains many of Hunt's stereotypes throughout the film. Devised by a sociologist Paul Hunt in 1991, the 10 stereotypes are what disabled people are viewed as: pathetic, object of curiosity, evil, super cripple, as an atmosphere, laughable, their own worst enemy, a burden, non-sexual, and unable to participate in daily life. An example is shown from the extract of the film.
Did you paint that? Can't take it. Sorry. Tell your brother Tom we were asking for him.
Christy is portrayed as non-sexual as the girl didn't accept his gift of a painting. It was an attempt of Christy showing his feelings towards her, which were dismissed by her returning the gift. displaying that women don't find disabled men attractive, therefore non-sexual. Moreover, in the same abstract, Christie is being exposed as pathetic when another girl asks for his brother, who is able-bodied, over him, thus suggesting women prefer to go for an able-bodied man rather than a disabled man. In opposition, in today's contemporary digital media, normalisation of disabled characters has been applied. According to normalisation theory, the social process through which ideas and actions come to be seen as normal. An example would be Matt Murdock, who is blind in Netflix and Marvel's Daredevil in 2015. Matt is a successful attorney and is no different from your average attorney, not judged on his disability. This is evident here, doing his job in a medium shot speaking to the jury. On the other hand, with it being a Marvel film and Matt's second life as a vigilante, Matt is still displayed as a super cripple, agreeing to hunt stereotypes. In addition, another contemporary TV show is HBO's The Good Doctor in 2017. Sean is a doctor who suffers from Savant syndrome, a type of autism which helps him remember a lot of information. He too, like Matt, is well respected and gets high praise from his colleagues. This applies normalisation theory as he has a job like any other person would and his disability isn't a barrier to success. In one episode, the parents of a patient refused to let Sean operate due to his disability. His colleagues eventually convinced the parents to let Sean operate. This reflects upon society currently as we are in a transition period of accepting disabled people. The majority of people do, but there are still a small minority that just haven't yet. Effects theory is also put on show here too. Effects theory is when the audience passively accept the media message and would exhibit predictable reactions in the response to the media. So when the parents refuse Sean to operate due to being disabled, the audience would be shocked. However, if this was pre-digital media era, the reaction would have been the polar opposite. Controversially, hunt stereotypes are still present, with the super cripple example again. In The Good Doctor, it is portrayed that Sean uses his disability as a superpower for his wealth of knowledge as a consequence of his disability. Channel 4, as an institution, through their charter, is currently trying to improve the representation of disability, both on and off screen. Its goal is to get more disabled people in the industry. There are currently 5% of disabled actors which the charter is attempting to improve further. They are shown, such as The Last Leg, with 2 disabled hosts, Alex Brooker, arm and leg deformities, and Adam Hills, an amputee. The hosts discuss everyday topics as well as promoting disabled culture to the mainstream. The show stemmed from the Paralympics in 2012, whereby they covered the highlights of a day's events. This has inspired disability onto UK TV in recent years, with Coronation Street's first Down syndrome character, Alex, in 2015. EastEnders include a wheelchair user in 2014-18 with Donna, and the A-Word in 2016's main character, Joe, is autistic. These are all portrayed as a true reflection of their disabilities, not stereotypes. To summarise, the representation of the disabled has improved considerably over time. This is due to the digital media allowing the audience to have access to many TV shows and movies on many devices. Moving away from stereotypes as displayed in the pre-digital media era to the disabled is now being seen as more accepted in the current digital media era. This is thanks to society accepting and promoting disabled culture. This proves that Buckingham's statement, genre changes as society changes, is true.